So thank you so much for having me. With the South African Podcast and Music Festival, I was one of the exhibitors there as a podcaster, because it was a whole festival where all the podcasters and musicians were in one roof. The event was organized by DJ Sbu and a founder as well as Nicholas Regisford. So they came with the idea, and obviously with their subordinates, everybody was given a task, and the exhibitors task was dedicated to Usis Vuyelwa. And that's where we actually found each other on social media, because when I saw it on Facebook early this year, I wanted to find out more about the information. And then the next thing, it was quiet, and all of a sudden again it rose that it's going to be held in June. And that's when she contacted me to find out if I'm still interested in being part of the exhibitor. And I agreed, because really, hello, I'm a podcaster. Any platform that can talk about podcasting, I want to be part of. So it was so great, because we met other popular podcasters like DJ Sbu himself, Garrett Cliff, Semi Arif, and many others that were part of the event. It has, definitely. It was mind-blowing, because it was at conference basically, where all the podcasters and the main guest speakers and masterclass. So there was a masterclass for podcasting. So we took part in the masterclass, listening into and asking questions as well. So so they basically taught us how to monetize the podcast, how to establish it, because with myself, as I was saying, that I wanted to, I had a YouTube channel and I focused more on the video and I wanted to perfect it. But really, podcasting is audio. It's like listening to uncommissioned radio, if I can put it like that. So we learned more about that. Well, what prompted me is, you see, I talk a lot. I talk a bit. But mainly I wanted to have a voice, or to have people around me have a voice, because we've got so many issues in the community, and everything is all fluff and beautiful on social media. Everybody wants to talk positive about their lives, but nobody is really talking about the nitty-gritties of daily challenges, in a family structure, because my podcast is family oriented. So I talk about male issues, I talk about female issues, I talk about the young people's issues. So those are the kind of topics that I look into. Just to name a few topics that I've done already. I've done Men Cave, I'm an outcast, where we had a conversation about how men who are currently using their mother's surname, and they struggle when they have to get married, or when they have to pass their surnames to their kids. There is that struggle. And most of the people think that, well, you wake up in the morning, you go change your surname at Home Affairs. But it's not like that for Black people. If you're really grounded in culture and what you want to know more, And we also had different other conversation about businesswomen or women that are in corporate, where we discuss the difficulties and challenges of a Black woman in a corporate, and they have maybe a higher position, because I had different guests like the HRs and the CEO of different businesses and financial managers of different businesses. So we talked something similar to that. For the young people, we talked about family diversity. Now in the modern time, we have different family structures, right? So you find that you have two fathers, two mothers, or you're living with your grandmother, or you're living with your mom who is a divorcee, or you're living with your mom who's not married, or your father have left you, and things like that, where we just understand where the youth stand with such transformation of family organizations or structures, and how it affects their mental state. So we were talking about things like that. So just to name a few, there's plenty. You can find it on my YouTube channel. always say that, and like it will sound cliche to other people, but for me is God's grace. In all honesty, you know, I think my husband is giving me grace to be patient with me. My children are giving me grace to be patient with me with everything that I do. And I work on a tight schedule, you know, so everything that I do, I ensure that we talk about it prior. We set dates for it, we set time for it, and execute it efficiently and effectively. So that's basically how I do it. And yeah, you know, I make sure that I give time to my kids, I give time to my husband. We have all our other, you know, excursions as a family. So I would say it's really God, because I don't know how I do it too. I think, you know, art is in a person. You know, I think we start by singing at church, or we start by singing at crèche, you know, and you realize, am I singing or not? Then we start doing these small sketches at school, at primary, at church, you know, things like that. Then you start developing this creativity part of you, right? So I always wanted to do arts, but because of my background, you know, I did not have the luxury to pursue the arts, you know. And when my mom actually wanted to support me to pursue it, I decided, you know what, for me to pay at that time, for me to pay 2,500 for me to do my profile and join an agency, it was equivalent to me registering at the university for a course. So I decided, you know what, let me register myself for a course and then study, see what I can do, and then later, maybe if really this thing is for me, it will follow me, it will, you know, and then I will ignite it. So while I was doing that, I was still continuing with a little bit of things that I would do. Like, for example, in some of the organizations that I've worked for, they'll say, if there's an interview, Rea, jump in. If there is a voiceover, Rea, jump in. So everything was just sort of like put together for me. And I was like, you know what? I always wanted to do this, so let me do it. Let me try it. So my first try actually was in 2016.
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, let me try acting. Let me get myself an agency. Let me see this thing works out. Definitely, I started in 2016. I got my first gig as in one of the commercials, and I'm like, wow, cool, this thing can work, you know. I started getting my first advert as well, not only now as a feature but as a lead, and I was like, oh, it's working out. But then I had an unfortunate situation. My father passed away, and I was like, okay, I don't think we should, you know, be doing this thing, because remember, I have a family. So I already had my first two kids, because I've got 3 kids. So I was already married in 2016. I have my 2 kids, and the next thing, my father passed away, and I'm like, this is going to be strenuous for my mom, because, you know, every mom wants their child to be successful in business and all of it. So you can imagine, in 2016, I lived my place of my corporate world. I have to send back the car, you know, and my mom was like, no, what's going on? What are we gonna do? I'm a neighbor, that's a teen, you know how. Our black moms, you know how they are. Our success is their, like, it's sort of like their thing as well, you know. And then I decided, you know what, let me stop it. You know, let me go back to work. And that's when I went to work at this organization that I was telling you about. And then after, I decided, okay, while I was doing that, because my agencies, remember, still exist, so they will call me for different, you know, roles and things like that. Then I would partake and things like that. And then my mom passed away in 2021. It was like, you know what, now I can do it in my own way. Relaxed, you know. The only person that I have to worry about now is my kids and my husband, you know. And with my husband, we had a discussion, because you know, I've been trying to do this, and it went well. I mean, in 2016, 2017, it went well, and then I fell pregnant in 2018. And that's why I also needed to go back to work, because the new baby was coming on board.
Lots of responsibility.
Then after, I was like, okay, cool, I'll try it again. Then in 2022, then I said, you know what, let me just try it again. So I had my savings at that time, and I told myself, you know what, let me try it again. Let me give myself 3 to 5 years. If it really doesn't work, I still have my corporate background. I mean, really, you know, I left both the sectors that I worked at as a successful businesswoman and entrepreneur and an operations manager. So I'm set today in any business sector. I'm set. So I was like, let me give it a try. And then, because the calling was the calling after all. And then I think that's how I then jumped in and I said, let me invest. Because everything that you invest in, your heart desires, when you invest yourself in it, you're going to make sure that it becomes successful.
Yeah.
Oh, my highlights were to be one of the students at the Market Theatre, because that helped me to develop and understand my craft, if I can put it like that, because it's one thing to have an idea and a talent. It's a different thing to develop it so that it can also more or less match what the market wants. So I've done like my first how can I put it, my first theatrical work with the Market Theatre. Still as a part-time student there as well. So the part-time programs, they really assist, And then I got exposed to more, how can I say, more organizations that also do acting trainings. Then I joined the KTL casting trainings that are happening at Sasani Studios, and I developed myself there. And thereafter, being exposed to more theatrical shows, interacting, networking, that really opened doors for me, because then, people don't only see you performing, but you're also exposed to other performers that are like, would you like to jump in on a project that I have, or things like that. So that was awesome, and that led me to having another agency as well that took me on board for the past 3 years, now going on 4, and those for me has been my biggest highlights. My low point, oh my God, my low point has been funding. I can tell you now, because in everything that I'm doing, in all the YouTube videos that you are seeing, all of the production that I've been doing, they have been mainly self-funded. It is a bit tough to get a sponsorship, so you do knock on those doors, you do send letters, and really, after all, podcasts, most of the people are like, podcast, what is that all about? And hence this South African podcast and music festival, it really helped us, because now here I am, people are acknowledging me as a podcaster, and they're like, oh, we now understand what is this podcasting thing. So it has been a bit challenging for my podcast to thrive. And of course, with acting, you have to go through auditions, unfortunately. So the more auditions, the better chance that I have. And I know sometimes some of the production they keep it within their own circle, but I feel that I will break through in the industry one day, one way or the other. Really, I've done beautiful, feature roles on TV, with Upetina Way to the season 3, and with a Legacy that was on Mnet, and with How to Ruin Christmas, the baby shower on Netflix. So I've put in my foot there, but you know how it is. Sometimes you feel down because you don't have production, because production means revenue coming in, therefore I can be able to fund myself even more, So funding is a challenge. I want to say plan well, but for other people they be like, no, jump in, just dive in. I would say plan it, meditate on it, because with myself, I will only talk about myself because it's my experience, is I meditated on it, I looked at it, I understood the disadvantages, you understand? Yes. So if you lose your place of employment, or if you leave because you want to pursue art, know that you're not going to have a monthly salary. Save well. Make sure that you also have a good structure. I think for me as well, to have a good family structure, not only limited to my husband and my kids, but my siblings as well. They are quite, good pillars for me, because I can call them and tell them, hey, today I don't have transport and I have this cake or whatever, so they're good pillars for me. So if you want to start this, know the disadvantages more than the advantages, right? In terms of planning, but jump in with your whole heart. Do it, sacrifice, understand your phases. Like, is this the phase to make money, or is it the phase to learn? Is this the phase to network? Or then money will come. I think for me, I always say money will come, and as long as you do what you love, and your gift will never fail you. As long as you tie your gift with God, I think for me that has been the biggest thing for me. And I can tell you now, most of the things that I've achieved, I go back and I look at God, I'm like, God, what are we doing? Wow, how did we do this? So plan well, be grounded in your belief system, so that if you lose everything, you know why you're losing it, because you have a bigger picture. And may your picture not be to be popular, to be famous. May your picture not be that, because fame comes and goes. But your story and what you want to achieve in the industry will stay a lifetime. I must say, God. That's the first thing, For me, God is everything. I put him first in everything that I do. And to be quite honest, he has never failed me. He has given me the networks, He has connected with people that I've never thought that I'll sit in rooms with. And trust me, some of the calls, I get them when I'm at home on my couch, and I'm like, where did you get my number? They're like, no, don't worry, just come through. So I think he has a way of orchestrating things. He has a way of touching people's heart, and people think about you, So I draw my strength from my spiritual belief system, that is believing in God. Okay. So currently I'm working with an organization or a movement, or let me call it that for now, right? There is there's a festival called Women of Soul that is happening on the 27th of July. As different women that are artists, we have the likes of Buhlebendalo, we have the likes of Zoe, that will be doing the whole festival at Ritzvlei at Zoo Lake, and people can check them out, really. So I'm involved in interviewing their guests for the festival that is happening. And the other thing that I'm involved in, I'm currently shooting a series with the production called Time Film that is owned by Zolta Mia, so I'm busy with that. I'm busy organizing my seminar that is Dressed in Confidence. We did the series last year in 2023 in December. So we're doing the second series now, where we put 50 women in one room that have undergone GBV. So there is a seminar that is observing 16 days against gender-based violence. So that's what I'm busy with, and obviously recording my podcast on a monthly basis. Yeah, that's what I'm busy with. Yes, so first let's start with my YouTube channel. So people can find my podcast on the YouTube channel that is spelled that is w.o.c.e Rea Seabela, that is REASEA, as well as they can find me on Instagram, that is WOCE_REASEA, and they can find me on Facebook as Rea Seabela, that is my full name. And those are the platforms that I'm currently active in.